Did you know that everybody in their world can tell who their enemies are? Everybody in this world except black folks. You know, everybody else knows who their enemies are. But you know, we have this kind of thing that thou shalt not hold, whatever these scriptures are. But you know, we really believe in that because we've had Baptist ministers since the days of the plantation, Methodist ministers. We've had ministers who have kept us in a prone position, kept us on our knees, but never did say that the Lord or Allah helps those who help themselves. So most of these people understand who their enemies are, but we do not understand that we're the most forgiving people. Don't you know, if you ask the Catholics who their enemies are, they'll tell you. They don't have to do any research. It doesn't matter where they are. They can immediately tell you that at 2 a.m. in the morning. Ask the Jews who their enemies are. They'll call them for you. Ask the Palestinians. Ask the Chinese. Ask the President of the United States. He'll tell you. But we believe we have no enemies. We believe we have no enemies. Because if we believe we had something, it means we'd have to fight. And some of us are not willing to do that. If we believe that we had some enemies, then it means that we would have to stand for something. This is the kind of thing. But one of the major reasons that black folks refuse to recognize that they're enemies of our progress and enemies of our people is because we are too busy looking for approval. We're too busy looking for acceptance from these people. We're too busy wanting, and you know, no matter what you do, you're never really going to, in a white supremacist society, for people who brought you over here, who deemed that you're inferior, you will never you'll never receive their approval or acceptance, and that's why I don't know why you seek it. The only thing that we should have them doing is fearing us, not accepting or doing these type things. This is what it is. But some of us will say, if we act out, it will hurt our image. Oh, what will white folk think? See, the Japanese aren't looking for acceptance, they're looking for superiority. The Koreans are not looking for acceptance, they're looking for superiority. The Russians, none of these groups are looking for acceptance from these people except us. Because you can believe this, all of these groups that I've named, the minute they get their superiority, don't expect them to be sympathetic either. They'll treat you just like the Europeans did. So when you decide to call yourself third world and all mixed up in coalitions with these people, you better watch and guard carefully who you coalesce with. So sisters, let me tell you, I think that if we're going to be looking at the 21st century, it is really time for us to go to war. I know it sounds terrible, but it is really time. The reason why I say that, some of you are so young, but you do not understand. 40 years ago, we were having these discussions. 20 years ago, we keep reinventing the wheel because we still have not understood that we were not put here to service the needs of white folks and to win their acceptance. And this is the kind of thing that bothers me. And when I say if you're ready to go to war, if you're ready to come with me, you may have to lose some friends because, you know, there are friends who don't want to be associated with people who make waves. You may have to lose some relatives because I've lost a few. I have 2 sisters in Oakland, California that are so bourgeois and such flag wavers that I only see them at funerals, hopefully at theirs. But these are the type things, you know, that we have to go through and have to deal with. And you are also going to lose some of your white friends, and I know that harms a lot of you, that you have to lose those friends. But you will lose some of them if you decide to do that. But see, one of the things that we're going to have to do, we're going to have to move just as aggressively as these white women move. But the only difference is we will move aggressively with our men. Now see, they're moving with theirs, but they don't want you to believe that. They want you to believe they are oppressed by those men and that they do not have enough money. But when those men have a chance to hire somebody that they call the, quote, minority, who do they hire, them or us? They hire them because they'd rather hire their mothers and their sisters and their lovers than to hire their enemies, which we are deemed to be by them. But see, let me tell you what we're going to have to do. First, sisters, we got to begin to have some very serious new racial strategies, which we have not had. We need a strategy that's just as Marcus Garvey said, the strategy needs to be race first. And when I say race first, I know a lot of you look up to those people who have not put race first. I think Shirley Chisholm is a wonderful person too. But when Sister stood up and said her oppression was more from being a female than being black, I said, now this is just the end. See, she can't be a part of the organization we're talking about. When Whoopi Goldberg said she had had worse treatment being a woman than she had ever had being black, and I know what part of the country she came from, and I know I've been treated black, but I said, this is just it. So you can understand, the list goes down and down and down of what we may find out. And see, the only sisters that we should have, if we understand this, when we form our new organization, the sisters have to be black. There can't be women of color. They can't be multicultural. They can't be diverse. They can't be any of that. They got to be black. They got to be black women and identify themselves as that. They have got to do that. And first, I think we need to begin with an association of black women. Remember, I didn't say colored women's clubs, none of those things. The association of black women. Now, we can call ourselves African women if we want, but black women. It has to understand. And the only agenda that we have is not complex. It's to free ourselves, free our men, and to free our children. You know, freeing the black, that's the only agenda. Now, that's not difficult. That is not any formula that you have to go home and memorize. It's just freedom is the only word you got to think. Freedom, race, and black. Those are the only things, if you can remember to do that.